A new patch means a new meta. Dubbed 13.1c, this patch brings a ton of changes that shake things up. If you're looking for the new comps to climb with, then you're in the right place. Let's break down some of my favorite choices for this patch. With buffs to Mascot's regeneration and Yumi's spell damage across the board, the comp that dominated Set 8 before Mecha Aces is back. To play this comp, you want to slow roll at level 6 for Yumi and as many Mascots and Supers as you can 3-star. Besides Yumi, Malphite, Lee Sin, Galio, and Gangplank are the most important. Sivir is also a solid option to go for if you high roll her, but you may choose to splash an Aegis over Civilian. With blue buff and Civilian, Yumi doesn't need Star Guardian for mana generation, and her spell can one-shot any unit when built properly. For items, Yumi needs blue buff. Shojin is playable but significantly weaker. Next, Jeweled Gauntlet and Giant Slayer for damage. Against the shield-heavy lobby, consider swapping out Giant Slayer for Guardbreaker. Although this board shows level 9 endgame, keep in mind you may not always get to it. There's a ton of units to 3-star, and with supers active, providing scaling damage for Yumi, it's often better to keep rolling for 3-stars around level 7 instead of going for level 9. But if you get contested, after hitting Yumi 3-star, pushing levels is a safe way to upgrade the board. With buffs to Spell Slingers at 4, 6, and 8, Talia got the much needed power boost that was keeping her from being meta. To play this board, you want to all in at level 8 for Talia 2 and Echo 2-star, and if you're lucky, a Syndra or Janna 1-star. From there, you should be stable enough to push for level 9 to cap out your board by getting your 2-star legendary units. This comp is solid because it's stable throughout the whole game, as you can play Lux carry early and Yumi before you have Syndra. Leona is great into enemy set and heavy ability power lobbies, but against a heavy attack damage lobby, consider swapping out Leona for another defender unit. For items, Talia wants Shojin. Blue buff doesn't compare, but it is usable depending on Janna's weather buff. From there, like most ability power units, she wants Jeweled Gauntlet and Giant Slayer, with Guardbreaker into lobbies with tons of shields. Overall, this comp isn't very flexible, but it's still very stable and doesn't cap out into the late game, which means it's perfect to get consistent top 4s while still being strong enough to compete for first place. Sona carry has been slowly rising in popularity, and with Ezreal carry getting buffs across the board, Underground has become a very viable comp to carry with. For this comp, your main frontline is 4 Brawler, and if you're carrying with Sona, you want Heart 4 and Spellslinger 2. If you don't 3-star Ezreal, you can drop him for a Defender or Aegis unit and give secondary carry items to Soraka after you cash out. Conversely, if you manage to 3-star Ezreal, he can be your main carry, and instead of Heart units, you can add in Recon. This comp is excellent due to its carry flexibility and ability to scale well into the late game. For items, however, no matter who you carry with, they both want blue buff, Jeweled Gauntlet, and either Giant Slayer or Guardbreaker. For this comp, you want to slow roll at level 7 for Sona 3, Riven 3, Vi 3, and possibly Ezreal and Lee Sin 3-star. Your main focus is to hit your carry, so if the units are contested, get your carry and push levels instead. But if uncontested, staying at level 7 or 8 to keep finding units might be best. If you maintain Underground 3 into the late game, you can get a nice econ boost whenever you cash out. Ideally, your first cash out will be at least a level 4 heist. From then on, you can cash out level 1 heists whenever you break 10 locks. Want to improve and climb the ranked ladder? Then you need to sub to my channel so you never miss out on the latest comp guides and meta updates like this one. With buffs to Jax and his augment Relentless Assault, I fully expect Brawler Jax to re-enter the meta at a high level. This comp is super stable early and transitions perfectly into the late game with answers to every meta comp. Here, you won't need mecha units, so ignore them and stick to brawlers. You should be slow rolling on level 7 for Jax 3-star and possibly Riven 3. A lucky Echo, Sejuani, Soraka, and Leona go a long way as well. For items, there's several variations, but I prefer to give Jax Rapid Fire Cannon and QSS to keep him safe. For his last item, either Jeweled Gauntlet or Gunblade depending on what augments you get. Just a couple more tips to note, with admin active, you always want to choose a team-wide buff when possible. Getting AP is the best option, followed by permanent health or a health shield. Lastly, if you get a Brawler emblem, give it to Soraka and go for 8 Brawlers. You can drop an Aegis unit for Renekton to fit them all in. Echo is great to keep Jax safe, while Leona is excellent for killing late game tanks. With insane damage buffs across the board to both Lulu and Zoe, a full Gadgettine comp might just be on the horizon for Set 8. The main focus is to slow roll at level 5 and 3-star Lulu, Poppy, and Wukong. Annie's an honorable mention to 3-star, and if you don't hit Wukong 3, swap him out for for Riven later in the game. For this comp, Lulu's items should be blue buff with Jeweled Gauntlet and either Giant Slayer or Guard Breaker. Second carry items should go to Zoe. A blue buff and Gunblade on her make your team hard to kill. Lastly, if you manage to get a heart emblem, give it to Zoe for fast scaling ability power, and drop Leona for Lee Sin or another heart unit for heart 4. You want to maintain Echo because of the added value from Prankster 2 keeping Zoe safe. This board caps out in the late game with Nunu being added for Gadget Team 5, giving you 2 extra items per round. Now playing for Zoe 3 is very possible, but the board will look completely different, so if you're interested in a Zoe reroll comp, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to break one down. Overall, there's a couple major losers this patch. Set plus Samira Aces is hopefully dead now that Samira has been nerfed pretty bad, and Set got some decent nerfs as well. Misfortune getting nerfed should kill most 4 Aces comps, so let's all hope we don't have to see those anymore. Finally, the comp I'm most sad about, Senna looks to be decent still, but very punished. Since Laser Core and Sure Shots were nerfed, it's unfortunate since Senna Carry didn't get a true chance to shine, being overshadowed by Samira and 4 Aces. But hopefully she will still be viable as a top 4 carry, since Laser Core is still strong with Sejuani and Zed buffs. Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, I'm Swagadelic.